My name is Sarindar Dhaliwal. I'm a visual artist and I'm based in Toronto. So my artistic practice is very, very broad in the sense that I don't just work in one medium. I work in different kinds of ways depending on the project itself. What drew me to the Open Studio residency program was years ago I got sent a postcard by a friend. She was traveling in New Brunswick, and it was a postcard that showed all of these lupins growing by the side of the road. And I always remembered that image. And I wanted to come during the blooming season. And the other thing that drew me to spend time in Sackville is I know that lots and lots of artists live here. There's a huge generosity in the arts community here. I gave a public talk at Struts about a film that I made that was finished in 2010, and I discussed the different influences from other artists that shaped the film. My project, The Cartographer's Mistake, the first piece was made in 2012, and I got the idea after I read a book, nonfiction, about the last year of British rule in India before it was partitioned. I think the partitioning of India to create the nation of Pakistan was a big mistake. At least, I know the figures differ, but some people say 1 million, some say 2 million people died in August of 1947 because Muslims had to go north or east to West Pakistan or East Pakistan. Hindus and Sikhs had to come south to India. When they crossed, there was a lot of bloodshed. So this project that I'm doing in Sackville will be the 12th piece in the series. The cartographer who made the mistake, I've turned him into a rather fictitious character. And as punishment for his mistake, he has to be reincarnated as a bird again and again and again. Through his bird life, he tells stories. And they're usually about the place where he lives, but they're actually my stories. One of the things I really like about the Cartographer's Mistake series is that the cartographer can move from continent to continent, but also through time. So he's been a sulfur-crested baby cockatoo who lives in Sydney, and he's talking about his past bird lives. Another time, he's a bird who lives in my headmistress's study, and it's 1963. His voice, I think it connects my inner world to a larger world, to a world outside. After I'd arrived here, I asked Maya, who works at Struts, if they could make me an alphabet with the lupin petals. And I have an alphabet that's marigold petals and one that's cherry blossom petals. Through this project, I've been researching Ethel Ogden and John Hammond, who both lived in Sackville. They both taught at Mount Allison in the fine arts. And I spent a lot of time at the Owens Gallery looking at Ethel Ogden's China painting. I've been to John Hammond's house, Hammond House, twice. And the second time, Lucas, who works at Struts, came to take photographs of architectural features in his house. I've been to Swan Pond, where Ethel Ogden will meet swans that she tells her story to, but I don't know what her story is yet. The graveyard where she's buried, which is on York Street, the outside of the house that Ethel Ogden lived in, and I'm hoping when I come back to Sackville, I can enter the house. The owners are away right now. My favourite activities in Sackville have been, socializing with people that live here, but also having the studio with the help of Simone, Maya, and Lucas. We took a lot of photographs, and I've been able to pin them up on the wall in a way that I can't do at home because I just don't have that space. And that way you can really see how the project could develop. It's like having a big white space to think instead of a cramped way of working. what I would like to share about my artistic practice is that, I mean, I've been making work for 40 years now, and I feel like I've given myself permission to do exactly what I want. So it's very much about the imagination. It's very much about quirky things in the world. I don't feel pressured at all to make a certain kind of art. So I'm very happy about that. I don't think I was ever pressured. I always worked outside of the mainstream. You know, I've got a lot of ideas for the future, maybe too many ideas for the time that I might have. Yeah.